Hi class, this is Professor Eidelman here to give you a brief tutorial on using the EBSCO database, Academic Search Premier. As you can see, I'm starting from the IVC home screen. To get to the library, you guys should be familiar with this by now. Click on the library link on the right-hand side. And then to get to databases, you're going to scroll down to the yellow boxes and click on Databases A to Z. Academic Search Premier is easy to find. It's the very first database on the list. Now remember, if you are off-site, you will have to enter your IVC username and password to log in. Now, this is the basic search screen. For this search tutorial, I am going to use the advanced search screen. The reason I want to use advanced search is because it gives me these nifty little search boxes up here on the left-hand side, and I have this drop-down box for the Boolean operators. I'm a visual person, so for me it's easier to have the boxes laid out for me and the Boolean operators right there so I can match up my search terms. I'm going to scroll down just a little bit so that you can see some of the search options that you can apply to your search. The most important being full text. It's located under Limit Your Results. And this is good for any database that you search in. You always want to have the full text box checked off when you search. The reason for that is if you leave it unchecked, you will get citations for articles that will include the abstract, the summary, and you'll look at the abstract and summary and think, hey, this is a great article for my research. And then you'll find out as you go through and try and look at the full text of the article that it's not available to you. To avoid this frustration, always have the full text box checked off, and then you won't have to worry about whether or not you actually have access to the article. So I'm going to scroll back up to my search boxes. And for this sample search, I want to find articles on the zombie apocalypse. So my first search term is going to be zombie. I'm going to use the Boolean operator AND, which is the default, and I'm going to add the word apocalypse. Then I'm going to click on the green search box for search and take a look at how many results I get. So surprisingly, in this general purpose database, I have 111 articles that match to the search terms zombie and apocalypse. Now remember, when you're using the Boolean operator AND, that is telling the database that your search has to include results that have both of these search terms, zombie and apocalypse. Let's take a look at the results. On the left-hand side, it shows the Boolean phrase I use. It also shows that I'm already limiting the search to full text. If you scroll down, you will see the option for publication date. So let's say I only wanted to use articles published within the last 6 years. I could grab this little arrow key here on the left-hand side and drag it to the right and move the date up to 2010. Once you let go of that little marker right here, the screen should update to narrow your results. Sometimes it takes a minute to do, and sometimes I have to scroll up to the top and hit the refresh key on my internet browser to get it to work. And sometimes it doesn't want to do what I want it to do, so I have to put it back in. So let me re-enter that. And once again, I'm moving the publication date up to 2010. There we go. Now it updated for me. See, searching isn't perfect even for librarians. So I'm going to scroll back down so that you can see source types on the left-hand side, and it shows me that we have magazines, newspapers, reviews, academic journals, trade publications, and that I'm thinking that's going to be it all, but if you click on show more, it would show more if there were additional search types. Underneath source types, we have our subject and thesaurus terms. So if I wanted to find what the controlled vocabulary in this particular database is suggesting for search terms for my topic, I could look through here and see if any of these might help me with my search. For instance, if I was interested in zombies in literature, I could click on this little checkbox and it would narrow down my search to zombies in literature. I'm going to go ahead and scroll back up to the top and take a look at some of my titles. What I do at this point in my search, if I'm doing research, is I scroll through the titles and see if they meet the requirements of my research. So just by looking at the article titles, I want to see if my search is relevant. If it is not relevant, then you want to go back up to your search and try different keywords. Now be careful when you do this. When you create a new search, what's going to happen is it's going to eliminate these limiters on the left-hand side. So remember I said you always want to have full text checked off when you search. If you change your keywords, then you're going to need to check that full text box again. So keep an eye on the full text as you go through your search just to make sure that it's always active. So let's go ahead and open up this very first article and take a look at the detailed view. Once you get inside, you have the PDF full text on the left. That's the actual article. I'm going to go ahead and click that open so you can see what it looks like. And when you open it, it should look like an article from a magazine or a newspaper. And as you scroll down, you can take a look at the title information, and there may be an introduction you can read to better understand if this article is going to help you with your research. On the left-hand side, now this isn't always the case, but sometimes you will have different contents that you can click through, kind of like a table of contents, so that if you want to go to a particular section, you may do that. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the results list. So let's check out the second article on the list and open it up to the detailed view and look at some of the other features that you have in this detailed view. So one of the things that you'll want to notice is these linked subject terms. These are pretty cool because they will take you to a search and pull up all articles related to that topic. So if I click on apocalypse, I'm going to get all of the apocalypse articles. The one note of caution I have on this is that once you click on a subject term, it's taking you to a new search. So you're now going to be out of the search that you started. So if you see an article and you think that it looks good, if you think, okay, you know what, this is going to be great for my research, use the tools over here on the right-hand side to email the article to yourself. You want to do that because once you click into one of these subject terms and you get away from your search, it might be difficult to remember how to get back to where you originally started. So if you even think you're going to use an article, click on email, put in your email address. So I'll put in beidelman@ibc.edu. And for subject, I usually just use article. Maybe I would put zombie article in there. And under citation format on the right-hand side, you want to click into citation format, and from the drop-down menu, choose MLA because that's the citation style we are using for this class. So I'm going to click on MLA, and then I'll click send. And now I'll have that article sitting in my email. I don't have to worry about remembering how to get back to it because it's sitting inside of my email. So let's head back to our results list and talk about narrowing down our search. So we already used the publication date to narrow down our articles from 2010 to 2016. But let's say that you have a requirement from your instructor to use peer-reviewed articles. Under Limit 2, which is where we checked off on the full text, you can click into the peer-reviewed journals and narrow down your articles to peer-reviewed only. So that's a great option because it allows you to tell the database what kind of articles you want to search for rather than going through individually on your own and deciding whether or not an article is academic or is it popular. So is it scholarly or is it popular? As you can see, there are 8 peer-reviewed articles in this database on the zombie apocalypse. Once again, I'd open it up. If the abstract is available, I would read the abstract to determine if the article is good for my search. And I would take a look, I would open up the PDF full text and take a look at it and see if I felt like it was a good article. Let me go ahead and open that up. So I would scroll through the article, take a look at it, see if it was worth my time, and then I would email it to myself. And you can actually email the article to yourself directly from this PDF full text view. If you look on the right hand side, the toolbar it's minimized, but it's still here. So you can go ahead and email it to yourself like I showed you before. Or if you just wanted to copy the citation, you could do that as well. So here is the citation icon on the right hand side. If you scroll down to the MLA, you can actually copy it, highlight the citation, and copy and paste it. Just remember that even if you get the MLA citation from a database, the responsibility is still on you as the researcher to make sure that the format is correct and consistent. All right, so the last thing I'm going to leave you with is up at the very top of the screen here where it says sign in, you can create a free EBSCO account. Now, you don't have to do this. It's not required, but I recommend that you do it. The reason you want to, and this is for any database that offers you the opportunity to create a free account, I recommend doing so because then you can save your searches directly into the database. And as you can see on the right hand, right next to sign in is folder. So let's say that I needed to do extended research on zombies and the zombie apocalypse. I could create a zombie apocalypse folder and start saving articles into that folder. So it's one more way to keep yourself organized and to make sure that you're not losing the articles you want to use for your research. Okay, I hope this video helped. And remember that I am always available via email, or you can stop by and see me in the library on Fridays. I'm there until 1 p.m. every Friday. I hope everyone's having a great